Coach, if you give us some opening comments about, how preseason practice is going and what can we expect from the squad this year?
Yeah, so everything's kind of been crazy, with everything going on with coronavirus and just everybody's lives have been kind of turned upside down a little bit. I definitely, I feel bad for the kids, with, not being able to have a normal college life. Basically being told that you can only go from the practice facility back to your dorms and, not being able to socialize. So, there's days where we come in and we look really good, and there's days where we come in and I feel like we can do a lot better. But I do understand that they're going through a different thing in the world. But, our motto is we don't have excuses. And so, I have high hopes for this team this year with a lot of veterans coming back. And adding some kids that, from freshmen to transfers that I really feel like they can come in and contribute. We have a lot more depth. We have a lot more people in practice. We're having an average of anywhere from 11 to 13 people in practice, where last year we're 7 or 8. So that definitely makes a world of difference, just with having more bodies and being able to be more competitive, and just being able to add more to our defensive scheme with having more bodies and being able to take people in and out. Looking forward to being able to play more people this year. Looking forward to having more people in double figures. I think we're talented enough where we should have anywhere from 4 to 5 people averaging double figures, which will look a lot different than what we had last year. So for me as their coach, I have high expectations for them, and I'm challenging them even more than I did last year, because I do feel like we have more talent, we have more depth to be able to do more than what we did last year.
All right, we'll open up for questions.
Coach, I guess kind of going on how preseason's gone and kind of the craziness of it all, do you feel like this team is game ready, or do you think maybe not any team is game ready, but how close do you think to actually kind of playing a game and putting that together?
This year's looks so different. We aren't able to have scrimmages against different opponents. And yesterday I was on them pretty hard because we are, a countdown. Yesterday we would have been playing, yesterday we're a week from playing our first game. And I was really hard on them. And then I went back and I thought about it. I think we're getting to the point where we're tired of playing against each other. And because of the way we play is so different and how we get after it defensively, you can't really judge where you are because we cause so much havoc defensively. So sometimes, offense looks sloppy. And who knows what it's going to look like next Wednesday against Towson. I think it's going to look a lot different than what it's been looking like in practice. Are we game ready right now? No, we're not. And I've told them we're not. But we're going to do an inter-squad scrimmage on Saturday with officials that I think will get us to a better point of where we are and understanding how refs are going to call it, dealing with the timeouts, having to get to our places on out of bounds plays, just different things like that we haven't been able to do because up to this point now we would have at least scrimmaged one team. And things just look a lot different, scrimmaging somebody else versus scrimmaging ourselves because we're so different defensively.
And I wanted to ask about next week as well, just kind of logistics and maybe testing or schedule-wise, especially with 2 road games. Mm-hmm. Will y'all test here with COVID and kind of get the clearance to go play? And then how do you handle the Wednesday to Sunday transition? Do you come back to Greenville and test again and then go play? Like, I don't know, a lot kind of at play there, but how has that been mapped out for y'all yet?
Yeah, so, we're a lot different than football. Football is has more of a routine. They pretty much play, either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, whereas we could play, our weeks look very different. So we started this week of doing testing 3 times a week. So we tested Monday, we tested yesterday, we'll test again tomorrow. And then next week we'll test Monday, we'll test Tuesday before we leave. And then we'll come back from Towson. We'll come back Wednesday night, and I think we're testing again on Friday, I think.
Any other
what has this journey been like since March to now with everything you've had to deal with as a team?
Unlike anything that we've ever experienced, hopefully unlike anything we'll ever have to experience again. I'm a firm believer, and the girls will tell you this, that, throughout any, negative situation, we always trying to find a positive. And the positive in this is that we are learning to deal with adversity. Like I said, I hope that none of us will ever have to deal with anything like this again. And so it is getting us stronger. It's getting us to the point where, you know, we can say that we can get through anything. You know, it makes us tougher. But, you know, back in March, it was, you know, not seeing them for the amount of time that I didn't get to see them was really, really hard, because normally, you know, they'd have been around in the spring and then it came back in June and they'd have been over to the house and doing all different things. And because, you know, we're a really tight group, and we spend a lot of time together, and we haven't been able to do that this year, which I hate so much. You know, we didn't get to do official visits, so we didn't get to hang out as a team. Normally I'd have them over to the house multiple times to cook dinner for them, or just to hang out, play games, play PlayStation, play with my twins or whatever. We didn't get to do all of that this year. You know, so I don't feel like I know the incoming freshmen as well as I knew Taniyah in her class, as well as I got to know, you know, Monk in her class and everybody else from last year, because we just haven't been able to spend that time off the court together as we normally would. And for a team like us, that's important. You know, that's significant, because that's who we are. You know, that family, that's what we pride ourselves on, and not being able to spend a lot of time with each other off the court, you know, for me has been really, really hard.
I wanted to ask Coach about Sierra DaCosta, and you know, last year she sat out, but do you feel like she's kind of getting her shot this year, and you know, can be a really impact player for y'all, and can kind of add to that core you've talked about, you know, of Monk and Dominique and those guys that did play a lot last year?
I do. I really do. And I think that Monk and Taz will tell you the same thing, that she's made a difference for us. You know, I think just her experience in knowing us as a staff and being with us for going on 5 years now makes a difference. Just, she's very vocal in practice, and she's very competitive. You know, it was very fun to watch her and Monk go at each other during the off season. This summer when we came back, it was really fun to watch the competitiveness between those two, going one-on-one or whatever drill it was. So she will definitely make a difference. She does make a difference, and I'm expecting some really good things from her.
And what do you think of just kind of looking at the non-conference schedule? I know the full league schedule isn't out, but looks like y'all have some pretty heavy hitters with, you know, from Duke to Georgia, Virginia, obviously kind of the first week. I mean, how do you take that as a positive, that you're going to get challenged and maybe put in some situations where you can grow, learn? Is that the way you approach it, playing good teams and kind of seeing where you're at?
You know, when I first took over the job, there was a couple of different things that I identified that I knew I wanted to change. One was just our mindset academically, and two was just our strength of schedule in non-conference. I thought it was pretty weak. And when we were at Hartford, every year we would play at least 3 to 4 top 25 teams, and people would look at us like we were crazy. Why not? You know, what good does it do to play a cupcake non-conference schedule? It doesn't prepare you, you know, and American is a tough competitive league. So when you're not used to playing against those teams in a non-conference, it doesn't get you ready for conference play. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, if it wasn't for coronavirus, our non-conference schedule would have been even harder than what it is. We had Carolina coming to us. We had JMU coming to us. We were going to Wake Forest. You know, so all across the board, it was going to be competitive. And I told the young ladies last year that the days of the cupcake non-conference schedule was over. You know, it was over. It's, you know, starting off with Towson, which is going to be a tough game on the road, and then going to UVA on the road, and then playing Georgia at home. I think it's definitely going to prepare us, you know, for league play on December 14th. And I think they want that. I mean, that's what you come to college for. You come to college and play, you know, a high competitive athletics to play against some of the best teams in the country. And that's what ECU will continue to look like as long as I'm here.
All right, any more questions for Coach? All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
No problem.
We'll take questions for Lashonda now.
Lashonda, can you kind of maybe expanding on what Coach mentioned there, the comfort level, even though it's so weird, you know, in the world right now, what is the comfort level like with y'all's roster on the court, and maybe things compared to last year where, you know, you didn't have as many players in depth and that type of thing?
I just think that, like Coach said, it's different in practice. You know, like We don't have to go every rep this time. You know, we can get some subs in for like, you know, when we're going really hard down the court. So I think that is kind of last year was kind of weighing on us a lot because, you know, games we were playing 40 minutes a game or in practice, like we were literally practicing the entire time. So I think that having more people now, it's kind of not as weighing on us.
And what about for you as well? I mean, I know everybody's motivated for every game and every season, but being a senior and for you kind of building on last year and maybe proving people wrong or having a chip on your shoulder. I mean, is there any of that just with expectations and, you know, what your motivation level is kind of coming into your senior season?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like my motivation is just to be better than I was last year. I mean, I still have a lot of work to do. Coach Kim tells me every day I have more to give. So I feel like, you know, that right there is just my motivation, knowing that I have a lot more to give and that she and the other coaching staff and my teammates believe in me. That's my motivation.
Coach talked about how close you guys are as a program, but what has this year in particular done to kind of strengthen that bond with everything you've been through?
Just knowing that we had to stay together. Like Coach said, we're not, you know, we have to stay at the gym or in our bubble. That just kind of made us, you know, stick together, really. We can't do much, so we're around each other a lot more, like in the gym and stuff. So it kind of just made us, you know, gel more together.
As a player, Lashonda, what are maybe any concerns, if at all, about playing a game, traveling, you know, some of the COVID type stuff? Do you worry or think about that much at all, or no? Or, you know, if you thought about that as games are kind of getting closer?
Yeah, I think it gets kind of scary because, like, you never know. It could be we're finna go play a game and the other team has an outbreak or we have an outbreak. So, I mean, it's kind of like really different day to day. Like Coach just tell us we need to go out to practice and practice like it's our last because it could be. So, I mean, we kind of just take it day by day.
And then I asked Coach about Sierra DaCosta. I wanted to ask you the same question. You know, people, me and others, fans who haven't seen her play, you've been to her with practice. Maybe what can she bring to this team, and what type of player is she?
She's a leader, most of all. She's very, like Coach said, she's very vocal. She knows her stuff. She knows the game of basketball. So I feel like she could bring that coach on the court. And as far as like her game wise, she's another competitor, and she just refused to lose. And I think that'll definitely help us.
And if y'all kind of you know, adopted might not be the right word, but you and Dominique and Raven, like y'all's class has kind of been here, you know, for a long time and been together. When she's kind of in that mix and seniors with y'all, I guess, if y'all kind of taken her in, you know, type of thing, even though she maybe wasn't with y'all the whole time?
Yeah, she fit right in. She just came in and we automatically liked her. So it wasn't hard for her to just fit in.
All right, we'll take questions for Taniyah now.
Taniyah, what about you? How, you know, I guess ready are you maybe to play a game? I'm sure maybe Coach wants y'all to practice a little more and that type of thing, but are you ready to maybe play Towson and see what y'all have against another team?
Yes, I think I'm pretty ready. You know, we've been preparing for this since June, so you know, you never know until you step on the court, but we've had like great preparation like from our coaches and just leading up to this point.
What do you think you learned last year as a freshman? And again, so this season seems so different and kind of everything that's going on, but is there maybe a couple of things you could take from last year for you personally kind of into this season? Does anything stand out for you?
Yes, last year I was able to have a lot of experience because just the amount of players that we had. So I had a lot of experience. So this year, I think bringing in some of the lessons I've learned from last year, I think that will help me this year, you know, just having a better IQ of the game. And yeah.
Being the bubble you've been in, how important has it been to have those teammates, and how have you kind of relied on each other to get through the isolation?
It's very important. You know, we've been following all the guidelines and all these things. So just being able to trust each other and that we're doing the right things and staying safe in our inner bubble is very important, just to the team and to each other.
I'll give you a chance to brag about Lashonda a little bit. She obviously has a lot of won some awards and some different things, you know, some hype coming into this year. How important is she to the team, you know, on the court, obviously for y'all, and off the court as well?
She's very important. I feel like she gets us going, and she definitely gets me going. Seeing her doing all these great things that motivates me to be the best I can be. So just having a player like that on the court, it just really helps the team come together.
Okay, any more questions for Taniyah?
Can I just say one other thing? That I just want you guys to know, I love this team. I really do. I know they don't feel it. I mean, I think it all the time. But I'm hard on them because I know what we can do, and I know what we're capable of. And this is a really, really good group of young ladies. We've made huge strides since last year. We're not at the top. We haven't peaked yet, which is good because we're just in a year and a half into this thing. But we've made strides in the classroom. We're about a 3.3 GPA right now, where we were below a 3.0 when I first got here. We've made strides off the court, just as who we are as individuals. And we've made strides in our commitment to wanting to be great, to our strides, commitment to wanting to be excellent. And they may not feel it from me all the time, but it is just my standards for them, and my standards for this program is that I never want them to settle. I want them to continue to be hungry and continue to want to be great and to get better every single day. But I do. I love this team, and I love where we've come since I first got here back in April. And I promise you, you're going to see a different product on the floor this year.
All right, if there's nothing else, thank you for your time, and have a good day.
I was going to say, Coach, by the way, my observation or the favor is when you rock the black jerseys for the first game, and if you win, you got to keep going. So
I know, right?
if you can build a winning streak around the black jerseys, choose wisely. Rock them once, and then don't put them off it, and until you lose another game, I guess.
Well, we got 3 new uniforms. I think you guys are going to like all of them. But the favorite does seem to be the black uniforms.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm sure the players love them too.
They do. So. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.